Hari Om. Let us chant the last 10 verses of chapter 9. Yanti deva vrita devan pitran yanti pitra vrataha bhutani yanti bhutejyaha yanti madhya jinopi mam patram pushpam param toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam shubha shubha phalairevam mokshyase karma bandhanaihi sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mamupaishyasi samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mayite teshu chapyaham api chet sudhuracharaha bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyapasito hi saha Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvachantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati mam hi partha vyapashritya yepesyo papayonayaha Striyo vaishyas tatha shudraha tepi yanti param gatim kim punar brahmana punyaha bhakta rajashayas tatha anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yukvaivam atmanam matparayanaha
Sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We were studying verse number 31. We concluded with that. The person who's in conformity with dharma, dharmatma, gains eternal peace. Know for certain, my devotee never gets destroyed. There is no destruction for my devotee. Dharmatma means one whose mind, one who has a commitment to dharma. The word dharmatma implies one who has a commitment to practice dharma. That dharma which is created, which the dharma that guided the creation, the dharma that preceded the creation. So it is not that the human being came into existence and then they created the order, the law, the dharma. How much ever our ego will like to believe that, the reality is there is a dharma. There is a dharma that preceded the very creation itself. Since it is the dharma that is sustaining the creation, maintaining the creation, so dharmatma means one who has a commitment to follow dharma. We require such an order. Why do we need an order? Why do we require an order? We require a dharma. We require a law because we have the faculty of choice. Where there is no faculty of choice, there is no dharma, there is no adharma. Faculty of choice determines dharma. The very fact that there is the faculty of choice is that which brings in the very discussion of dharma and adharma. An elephant in the forest is not a materialistic elephant. An elephant in the temple is not a spiritual elephant. Again, I repeat. An elephant in the forest, you cannot call that elephant as materialistic, selfish, self-centered elephant. And there is another elephant in the temple here. You cannot call that elephant in the temple as a spiritual elephant, can you? We may like to believe in all that. Yeah. No, sir, that elephant prayed to God and died, and WhatsApp the video elephant is an elephant. It doesn't matter. There is no dharma or there is no adharma for an elephant. Why? Because there is no faculty of choice. This dharma and God are not two separate entities. This is where Vedanta comes in. Please understand that. Dharma and God are not two separate entities. Dharma and God is two sides to the same coin. The misunderstanding of God is God has power over dharma so that you can do all other things and God can override. God has the power to override. If you understand God and dharma are two sides to the same coin, then you become dharmatma. Now, what is this God? You follow? What is this God? The bird with its physical capability and its intellect build a nest. Using its physical strength and using its intellectual prowess, it builds its own nest. Correct? A crow does it. A bird does it. A human being also using the power, the physical power and intellectual power, they build their own. So as you see, in the hierarchy, creatures show superior physical power and less of intellectual power, and more of intellectual power and less of physical power. Now you extend it, there has to be something that is, you extend the same logic, where it should end, where it should culminate. An entity that has supreme power, that entity that has supreme intelligence, that entity that has supreme power. Because you can see the hierarchy. Are you able to follow? Yeah, you can see the hierarchy. As you, one is superior to the other, one is, and then in that hierarchy, okay, human being. Now, obviously, there has to be something higher. That higher is called God. That higher is called dharma. Both are one and the same. Are you okay till now? So for that higher entity, we kept a name. What is the name we kept? We started calling it as God. That is God. Dharma and God are one and the same thing. A devotee of God will be a dharmatma. A dharmatma will be a devotee of God. I am a devotee of God, but duratma doesn't exist. I am a devotee of God, but adharma, all adharma I will do. It doesn't work. Also, you find from another angle opposites. If it is extremely cold, it will be followed by a harsh summer. Everything has an opposite. So the human mind also must be having an opposite. What is the human mind? The human mind which is full of worries and anxieties and crying and complaining all the time. So there has to be an opposite of this also. What is that opposite called? That opposite of human mind is called God, Dharma. Because Dharma is exactly the opposite of what human? What is human mind? What is human mind? Sometimes happy, sometimes sorrow. Sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, sometimes good mood, sometimes bad mood. So mood swing, isn't it? The mood swing, mind is swinging. Mood swings means what? The mind is swinging. So there has to be an opposite of that which doesn't swing at all. What is that called? Dharmatma, God, all are one and the same. So from this you understand God and Dharma are not two separated things. Dharma expresses itself as conduct. Dharma expresses itself as a conduct. So what they did is they gave a code of conduct and they said, if you are having this kind of conduct, you are practicing Dharma. Seeking God means not going away from Dharma. When you are not moving away from Dharma, you are closer to God. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. This person, Dharmatma Arjuna, very soon that person gets, very soon that comes to me. No doubt about that. Previously, he was a Gurachara. Remember that word? We should remember at least some words in the few verses at least. Next chapter, we'll forget. That's it. Durachara to Dharmatma. Why he is Dharmatma? What made a Durachara to become a Dharmatma? Stability in knowledge. It is the stability and conviction in knowledge that shifts a person from Duratma to Dharmatma. Durachara to Dharmatma. See, Dharmatma means one whose understanding is very clear. What is meant by understanding very clear? Whatever be your state of mind, your knowing doesn't get disturbed. Again, I repeat. Whatever is your state of mind, your knowing and understanding doesn't get disturbed. How much ever disturbed you are, 2 plus 2 will remain 4. The 2 plus 2 answer will not change according to you. Will 2 plus 2 change according to your mood swings? When you are happy, 2 plus 2 equals 4. When you are sad, 2 plus 2 equals 0. When you are angry, 2 plus 2 becomes 22. Does it change like that? This is called stability in knowledge. whatsoever be your mind, whatsoever is the status of your mind or the mood, knowledge doesn't, the understanding doesn't get, that understanding doesn't waver. That non-understanding, that non-wavering person who has reached that highest state all the time. In chapter 2, he called that person as Sthita Prajna. In chapter 2, this person is what is called as Sthita Prajna. The knowledge that doesn't get disturbed because of you. The condition of the body or the condition of the mind doesn't determine, doesn't change the clarity of understanding. Again, I repeat. The condition of the body or the condition of the mind, the body has become very old, the body has become very weak. Therefore, 2 plus 2 equals 45. Does it change? So the physical condition of the body, whether it is weak or diseased or old, knowledge, the clarity doesn't get altered. Second, whatsoever the condition of the mind. And what is the condition of the mind? The condition of the mind is to keep. The condition of the mind is to keep swinging, moving. Irrespective of the condition of the mind, the knowledge doesn't get disturbed. That person, Arjuna, who is stabilized like this, is my devotee, and this devotee of mine never gets destroyed. This devotee of mine who has this steadiness in knowledge. What is steadiness in knowledge? Irrespective of the physical, mental condition, the clarity doesn't get altered. Such a person very soon gets Shanti. Shashwata Shanti. Not the Shanti, we don't know Shanti at all. We only have names, Shanti, isn't it? Even the person who has the name Shanti also doesn't know what Shanti is. Shashwata Shanti. What does that Shashwata Shanti means? The clarity doesn't get altered. Sir, but as we grow, sir, we keep changing, no? Knowledge keeps changing, no? Your mind keeps changing. Likes and dislikes keep changing. Dharma, facts of life don't change whether you are young or old. Do you understand that? Sir, as we keep growing, maturity comes, no? Your understanding of Dharma is becoming better. Dharma is not altering. Understand that. Again, I repeat. Don't say Dharma is altering. Your understanding is becoming better and better and better. So what is Dharmatma means? Dharmatma means one whose mind is firmly established in this knowledge. The condition of the body and mind doesn't alter the clarity. There could be any physical condition. There could be any physical condition, or there could be any mental condition. Knowledge doesn't get altered. Such a person is called Dharmatma. And that Dharmatma, Arjuna, very soon gets Shashwata Shanti. And the Dharmatma is my devotee. And this devotee who is Dharmatma doesn't get perished at all. It means what? God and Dharma are one and the same. Sticking to Dharma is sticking to God, or sticking to God is sticking to Dharma. The misunderstanding that we keep talking about in most of the classes is people believe that you can do adharmic thing and God has the power to. You can do any adharmic thing and God will, because of his supreme power, supreme intelligence. You also said some some vague analysis you did. In that also you said God has supreme power and supreme. So it means using that supreme power, God can nullify all our dharmic things. He says, using my supreme power, I will create you, I will keep creating opportunity after opportunity for you to become dharmic. That supreme power, that supreme intelligence is so benevolent that situations after situations will be created for us to become dharmic. To that supreme power, we bow down. That bowing down is called bhakti, devotion. And that devotee of mine doesn't perish. Up to this, we are very happy. It looks very good and all that. This verse number 32 that we have to study now. If only people have the choice to alter the original text, in the verse choice in the verse edit pannirpaanga. There are political verses. These verses are all this dharmatma, durachara and all will not trigger your thinking at all. This verse is going to get you very agitated. This verse is going to get you very disturbed. Choice la utralaanu nenikiren Venkat. Unnecessary it will create, because these are the verses. Anyway, it's in the original. Therefore, we don't have the choice to edit it or bypass it. We will read that. 32 padinga.
Hi partha vyapashritya yepi syupapayodnayah Triyo vaishyastata shudraha tepi yanti param gatim mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syupapayodnayah Triyo vaishyastata shudraha tepi yanti param gatim.
For those who take refuge in me, O Partha, though of sinful birth, women, Vaishyas, even Shudras, they also attain the supreme goal. For those who take refuge in me, O Partha, though of sinful birth, women, Vaishyas, even Shudras, they also attain the supreme goal. From 32, from 30, 31, 32, the trend, the thought is spiritual enlightenment is a possibility for everybody. It is not an exclusive right only for a few. It is possible for everybody, provided they become Dharmatma. That is already implied. So it is not that only a few are qualified for enlightenment, rest are all doomed to suffer. So all are qualified for enlightenment. That is very good. But what is the politics here? What is very agitating and disturbing us here? Sinful birth, that is not so much problematic. Because we don't have because our birth is so holy that there is no sinful birth at all. So that will not agitate us so much. What will agitate? Striya, women, even women, Arjuna. Even women will get, this is where the Shastras are all very bad. Why women? Choice la yeah. Vaishyas also, Arjuna. Oh my God. Vaishyas are the gods. We have to fall at the feet of Vaishyas only. Say, who are gods? Who are gods? Okay. To put it very simply, Shankar, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Gautam Buddha. Who's very interesting? Who is very appealing? Ram Subramaniam. Give the right answer. Huh? Even if you give the wrong answer, I know. Gautam Buddha, it's a wrong answer. Yeah, anybody types Gautam Buddha, it is a wrong answer. Because in the deepest core, who is God? But even though that Apple founder, wow, what a great person, sir. That Microsoft, what a great, that car founder, I don't know. So women, oh my God, don't even talk about that. Vaishyas, they are gods already, because looks like they are liberated already, and all of us are trying to, all of us want to become, all of us are trying to become that, isn't it? All of us are wanting to become that, including the professors in the university also wants to become that only. Yeah, fighting for that only. So what are we talking as? When Vaishyas, last one is enough to put the speaker in jail forever. Yeah. உங்களுக்கெல்லாம் jail கிடையாது, பத்ரி. You all will be free. I will be put in prison in this whole lifetime and the next lifetime also. Why? Shudras, even Shudras. How do you even understand all this? Four types of minds, given four names. If the names are agitating you, remove the names, doesn't matter. If the name women is agitating you, and if you are happy putting the name man, put it, doesn't matter. If you are happy, if you are unhappy using the word Shudra, remove the word Shudra and put whatever word that is appealing to you, doesn't matter. But there are four types of minds. That four types of minds is Papayonayaha, Striyaha, Vaishyaha, Shudraha. These are the four types of minds, not the body, not the birth. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. We have already seen that in detail in chapter, in the verse, in the chapter. Chapter 4. Udane book up, isn't it? Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. He has said that very clearly in chapter 4 already. So what is meant by these four? Four types of minds, four names. So first thing, if the name is agitating, remove that name. If the name Striyaha is agitating you, put Purusha. If that satisfies you, put. Doesn't make any difference. Why man? Why woman? Why not put the word man? Put it. Doesn't make any. You can add, because it doesn't make any difference. Why? Because all that we got to understand is there are four types of minds. What are the four types of minds? Papayonayaha, Striyaha, Vaishyaha, Shudraha. What is Shudraha means? A tamasic mind, a tamasic lazy mind is Shudra. A tamasic lazy means intellectually lazy, physically also lazy. It can never happen where you are intellectually so alert and physically lazy. It won't happen like that. So laziness here is not physical laziness, it is the intellectual laziness. What is intellectual laziness? Incapable of thinking and doing anything by themselves. Always has to be told, and they can do only what they are told. They cannot do one thing extra. That mind is the lazy mind. That is called Shudra. Vaishya. What does Vaishya means? A materialistic mind. Attachment, extreme possessiveness and attachment to craving to create wealth and how much ever wealth is created, you want more wealth. Second, and how much ever it is created, you will always feel you don't have enough to give dana. That is the Vaishya. That person says, are you able to follow? So what is Vaishya means? A materialistic mind is Vaishya. So how much ever you have, you still always keep crying. That crying for what? You don't have enough. For what? When both my ends are not meeting, how can I do Dhanam and all, sir? CSR and the government rule pota kuda. CSR, even if the government says give 2% na kuda, we'll find a way to avoid that 2%. Yeah. We'll find a way to avoid the 2%, or take it from the right pocket and put it in the left pocket, because 2% is, this mind is called Vaishya. This mind is called Vaishya. Are you able to follow? So Shudra means that mind. Vaishya means, what is Striyaha means? A mind. Striya means obsession and attachment. Striya, don't take it as a body Striya. Please understand. There are two types of, just for name's sake, you have to give some name. No. Some name you have to give, they gave those names, that's all. If the name is agitating, remove that name, doesn't make, but there is the mind. What is that? That cannot be disputed. What is that mind? That mind that is prone to extreme, the mind that is prone to extreme possessiveness and attachment. Any discussion about liberation, that mind will not be interested. That is 3. Any discussion about freedom, it will not encourage that. It will constantly keep thinking about that areas of attachment and cannot let go of the attachment. And why they said 3 is because, what is the deepest conviction of the mother? What is the deepest conviction of the mother? If I am not there, my child cannot survive. So the survival of the child is dependent on, this is attachment. This is 3. Papa Yonayaha. This Papa Yonayaha is what? Sinful birth. What is sinful birth? Example, Prahlada. Even though Papa Yonayaha, he was born in the family of immoral activity. So what is Yoni means? The womb. So even if you are born in such a family where everybody around you is immoral, you can still get liberated. Are you able to follow? Apayonaya. So from this, what do we understand? The classifications here in spiritual sadhana, the body classifications of male and female is of no relevance. It is not the physical body classification of male and female. There are 2 types of mind, that's all. One type of mind that is required for spiritual sadhana, another type of mind that is refusing, that will not take up to spiritual sadhana. What kind of mind is required for spiritual sadhana? Exploration is required. Courage is required. Extreme courage is required for spiritual sadhana. Are you able to follow? Extreme courage means extreme exploration is required for spiritual sadhana. Stree means the mind that doesn't have that courage. The mind that doesn't have the courage, always looking for, the mind that doesn't have the courage, always will look for what? Always will look for a support, walking stick, isn't it? It needs a walking stick. It needs a support. That mind is Stree, whether in a masculine body or a feminine body. And there is no third body, no? Body is only of 2, isn't it? There's no third body. Oh Arjuna, even women, Vaishyas, Shudras, those who are of sinful birth, certainly will attain the supreme goal if they take refuge in me. If they take refuge in me. Again, refuge in me is refuge in one word. Refuge in me is refuge in dharma. Refuge in dharma nartham. Me, meena, God, no solo. You are so used to saying refuge in me means refuge in Krishna. And what is refuge in Krishna? Don't know, isn't it? Falling at his feet, worshipping his idol, doing the puja and doing sastra. We don't know. Or all that you can do and still nothing happens. Why? Because taking refuge in me means taking refuge in dharma. Why? Because that's how we started. Dharma and God are two sides to the same coin. Are you okay? Those who are born from sins, those who are born from sins, those who are born from sins means everything around them is so rakshasic and asuric that you will be punished if you entertain the thought of God. That's why I gave the example of Prahlada. Are you able to follow? At least in other places, okay, don't worry. More or less, all families are like Hiranyakashipus only, isn't it? More or less, all families are like Hiranyakashipus only. Why? Chinna vayasula edu koil ponum. When you are young, why go and waste time in philosophy class? When you should go for philosophy class or when you should go to temple? Sinful birth means preventing any association with divine. Preventing all forms of association. Why do they prevent? Because they are either they have the mindset of Vaishya, Shudra or Stri. Because of that, everything around that whole environment is that. That whole environment is, everything around that environment will be adharmic. Even if you are in that environment, if you have resolved rightly, like Prahlada, I take care. Are you able to follow? Papa Yonaya. Yoni means the birth. The food, shelter, clothing itself is so preoccupying. The mind is so agitated by that. Where does it have time to go to God? This is Papa Yoni. Because people believe that material stability is required to be dharmic. This is the fallacy in thinking. This is called Papa Yoni. People always believe material stability is required to be dharmic. First to become materially stable. And to become materially stable, you have to be adharmic. So logically, what are we thinking? Get a PhD in adharmic so that you can become dharmic. Very good. Yeah, it's a very good thinking. It's a very good hope. Krishna comes and says, unfortunately, the law comes and says, it doesn't work like that. Vijay, Kurida? No? Are you able to follow? Summary எல்லாம் திருப்பி எழுத சொன்னாங்களே எதுக்குப்பா எழுதுற? Somebody is asking you to write the summary. Why are you writing the summary again? புரியுதா? அதுதான் பாப்ப யோனின்றது அதுதான். Yeah. Why? Everything is so agitated around. Everything is so disturbing. Everything is so disturbing. And what is that divine blessing for a human being? The divine blessing for a human being is so much of these inequalities are, the opposites are, you can be aware of the opposites of life and you can develop vairagya and you can grow higher. That is dharma. But what is the case of a human being? Papa Yonaya means always living in fear, always living in worry and anxiety. And in that worry and anxiety, the mind will, what mind can go to God? That's why he always says, first, even that, I don't know. First, you have to take care of, even Vivekananda said, no, sir, a hungry man cannot think of philosophy. Therefore, first give him food. And then in the hierarchy of thinking, first comes material, and then comes this. What is that? Some Maslow's, I don't know, all drama they talk, isn't it? Fallacy in thinking, fundamental fallacy in thinking. What? You don't have to have a material stability to be dharmic. If you can get rid of that thought, you become spiritual. What is Papayonaya means? Papayonaya means thinking that you need material stability. Yeah. 5x, 10x. 5x, 10x, 5 times profit or 10 times profit, isn't it? They also used to wear the badges, no? Sometimes. Have you ever seen anybody wearing those badges? 10x. Has anybody seen? 10x na enna. They are striving for what? If you put 1 rupee, you should make it to 100 rupee must become 1000 rupees. Until you become 1000 rupee, that fellow will not rest. What a pride. Yeah. Papayonaya. Where do you have time to? Because the fallacy of the thinking is what? Once you have material stability, then you can become dharmic. That is why a poor person being adharmic is acceptable, even in movies, isn't it? A rich person has to be dharmic. Poor person can be adharmic also. Why? In the movies also it is accepted, no? We have, what is that fellow who steals from the rich and give it to the poor? Robin Hood. I was about to say Basha, isn't it? What Robin Hood? Basha solvanga Robin Hood. Who has seen Robin Hood? Basha we have seen. Steal from the bad and give it to the poor. And who's rich? Who's bad? Rich is, all rich people are bad. Obviously, they have to be bad. And all of us want to become that bad, isn't it? All rich people are bad. Look at the fallacy in thinking. All rich people are bad. And all of us want to become that bad. Why? Because once you become that bad, you can become very dharmic. This mindset, if you are born in, this mindset, if you are born in an environment that has this mindset, this is called Papayonaya. This is called Papayonaya. Sir, Vedanta and all is okay, intellect and all is okay, but survival, what will they do? Vedanta is okay, intellect is okay, 3-year course is okay. Survival, Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. You protect dharma, dharma protects you. Where is the problem? This mindset is called Papayonaya. Are you able to follow? So this, Arjuna, even if you are born in this environment, if you are rightly resolved, you will be protected. That's why you find Puranic stories going into extremes, like Gajendra, Jatayu, all these creatures also, all these creatures getting moksha. Striyaha, we have seen. I'm repeating again. Striyaha means what? The mind. What is the mind? The mind that refuses to get rid of its attachment is Stri. Vaishya. What is Vaishya? This mind is Vaishya. What is there for me? What will I get? This trading mentality. Trading isn't it? The most intelligent person is one who knows how to trade, no? Isn't it? So what is the Vaishya? Anything you do, you ask this question. What is the question? What is there for me in that? Stri means emotions clouding the mind. Vaishya means always thinking in terms of what will I get. Shudra, you tell me, I will do. If no command is given, I will sit in one corner like Jada Bharata. Like Jada. This is Shudra. Shudra means again what? You tell me, I will do. If nobody is there to tell anything, where the hand will go? Amazon Prime, Netflix, isn't it? Why? Because there's nobody to say, oh, yeah, why? It will go straight away, it will go there only. Why? That is tamas. Even if you are tamasic in nature, even if you are materialistic in nature, even if you are extremely possessed and attached, and even if the environment around you is the most unconducive environment, if you are rightly resolved, Ame bhakta pranashyati. Me bhaktaha na pranashyati. Previous verse. Even in the most unconducive environment also, if you are rightly resolved, you get moksha. Whenever the mind is concealing the truth, whenever the mind is concealing the truth, it has a motive. It has a selfish motive. It has a selfish motive. The mind is, it makes the mind dull, which is there in everybody. You follow? Whenever the mind is concealing dharma. What is concealing dharma means? What is concealing dharma? What is covering up dharma? We have seen what dharma is already in detail. So I'm not going into the definition of what dharma is again. So wherever the mind chooses to be adharmic, it has a selfish motive. Are you able to follow? Wherever the mind slips into adharma, there is always a selfish motive in it. So what is he saying? The trading mentality, the slothfulness, the laziness, attachment, unconducive environment, all can be taken care. I will take care. All this can be taken care. Are you able to follow? That's how we started by saying, in this spiritual path, he is giving a conviction that irrespective of where you are, you can grow. Not demeaning a section of society. In those days, these words were used, not as a demeaning them. Today, we took it as demeaning, and if it is demeaning, change the words. That's okay. If it is demeaning, change the words. But whatever word you put, these four types of mind doesn't get changed. You can put any word for that. But there are these four types of mind, and Krishna is concerned about only these four types of mind. He's not concerned about the word Stri or Shudra or Vaishya or any word for that matter. emotions go through these ups and downs. That's how we started. Emotions go through these ups and downs. Who's a Dharmatma? Who's a devotee of God? The clarity doesn't get disturbed. In spite of the fluctuations, the clarity doesn't get disturbed. These people, Arjuna, they come to me. So even if the person is of a durachara, apayoneha, stri, vaishya, Shudra, doesn't matter. If you have resolved to be dharmic, na pranashyati, me bhaktaha na pranashyati. I am taking care. I will take care. How beautifully he said in verse number 22, in the same chapter. Ananya Sintayanto Mam Ejana Paryupasate, Tesham Nityabhiyuktana Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. And we saw the difference between the words, no? Vahami and Dadhami. He is not saying, I will give you. Dadhami means giving. Vahami means I take responsibility. Ananya Sintayanto Mam Ejana Paryupasate, Tesham Nityabhiyuktana Yogakshemam. Your yoga and kshema is my responsibility. We saw that. I remember saying all this in that verse. When he says, it's my responsibility, if you have some ounce of intelligence, what will you do? You leave it to that person. Somebody says, I will take responsibility, and you know that that person is capable of doing that. Anybody coming and saying, I'll take responsibility, you leave, then you are very, so you know that person has the capability to take that responsibility. And when that person is saying, when Krishna is saying, Yoga Kshemam, Aham Vahami. The Sanskrit word Vahami is, it's my responsibility. He's saying, it's my responsibility. When I will take responsibility? When I will take responsibility, you follow Dharma. When you are following the life of Dharma, I take that responsibility. Following a life of Adharma means out of ignorance, you have taken up that responsibility upon yourself. Sir. Always from birth, you stand on your legs only, isn't it? On whose legs you are standing? You are standing on your legs only, isn't it? So he says, your yoga and kshema is my responsibility. He is reinforcing that. He is elaborating that. There he said it. Now he is elaborating. What? Even if you are of these 5 categories, still I will give you yoga and kshema. Why? Because you have rightly resolved. Kshipram bhavati. Kshipram bhavati means all these 5 categories, quickly they will get. This is verse number 33. Now we'll read verse number 34. Sorry, 33 we have to read now.
Kim punar brahmana punyaha bhakta rajashyastatha anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Kim punar brahmana punyaha bhakta rajashyastatha anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam.
How much more than holy Brahmins and devout royal sages, having reached this transient joyless world, you worship me. How much more than holy Brahmins and devout royal sages, having reached this transient joyless world, you worship me. He is continuing the thought. இந்த 5 கேட்டகரிக்கே அவ்வளவு சீக்கிரம் கொடுப்பேன் அப்படின்னா for that 5 categories what durachara and papayonayaha Sri Vaishya Shudra if they them if I'm going to grant them Kshipram Bhavati, how much more easily it will be for Brahmanas and Kim Punar Brahmanaha and Rajarshayah. We have seen that already. The four temperaments, sorry, the 3 gunas mixed into four categories. What are the 3 gunas? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. What are the 4 classifications based on the 3 gunas? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is based on guna and karma, not by birth. All that is seen very clearly. So, okay, now Brahmana. Who is a Brahmana? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Maximum Sattva, less of Rajas and traces of Tamas. This is a, so tabular column report, it will be easy. Vijay, Brahmana, Eldikapa, SRT Eldiko, clear. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Kshatriya, Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. Vaishya, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Shudra, SRT ஓட அப்படியே உல்டா. SRT ஓட உல்டா என்ன? சத்வா, ரஜஸ் அண்ட் தமஸ். அதோட உல்டா எப்படி வரும்? எப்படிப்பா வரும் அது? தமஸ், ரஜஸ், சத்வா. SRT ஓட உல்டா வந்து TRS. அவ்வளவுதான். So Shudra means maximum tamas, some rajas and traces of sattva. Who's a Vaishya? Rajas. When the tamo guna increases and sattva guna decreases, that is called Vaishya. Who's a Kshatriya? Rajoguna increases, but Sattva guna is also a lot. Tamo guna is minimum. That person is called a Kshatriya. And who is a Brahmana? Father Brahmin, mother Brahmin, therefore Brahmana. இன்னைக்கெல்லாம் பிராமணன்ற கேட்டகரியே இல்லை. There is no category called Brahmana today. Sattva illa. Sattva means a commitment to dharma and living a life of tapas, charity. That is sattva. A active committed life to dharma and living on charity is a Brahmana. Again I repeat, a active committed life to dharma and living life on charity is called a Brahmana. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Why? Because the pursuit, his mind is so preoccupied with nididhyasana, self-realization, etc. That person has no time for the pursuits of Kanchana, Kamini and all. He has no time for all that because more interested in nididhyasana, dhyana, self-realization, guru seva, those few things only that person matter. Rest of the things doesn't exist. Okay. Who's a Kshatriya? A selflessly active person is called a Kshatriya. And Karma Yoga is all directed towards this Kshatriya types. You have to be active but selflessly active. Why? Because the Rajoguna is there, but what is supporting that Rajoguna a lot? Sattva. Who's a Vaishya? He is also predominantly Rajasic, But what has changed in the SRT? Enna change aayirukudhu? Did you notice the change there? Notice what has become more? The sattva has become less and tamas has become more. He is also active. That fellow also will be active. But why we don't call them as Kshatriya, but we call them as Vaishya? Because it is not because of the Rajoguna component, it is because of the change of proportion of tamas and sattva. In a Kshatriya, the sattva is more, tamas is less. In a Vaishya, tamas will be more, sattva will be less. Rajoguna dominant backed by sattva is selflessly active. Rajoguna backed by tamoguna is selfishly active. Both are active. Well in the path, people get carried away. And all these Vaishya people are seen as gods. Why? Because they are very active, no sir? They're very active, no? They're very active, no? Of course they will be active because Rajoguna is. But still, why these two categories? Why can't both are combined? No. In one category, the sattva is more predominant. In the other, the tamoguna is more predominant. In the clarity one. Once you get this clarity, you know how these four categories exist. And why he calls them as Raja Rishis. Raja, the kings who are also Rishis. Raja Rishi. The kings, but they are Rishis. Why? Because they live a selfless life, active selfless life. Who's a Brahmana? Contemplative life. And the difference for you. And although in a Brahmana, you will not see that much of physical activity because of the sattva guna that is so predominant there, it will be a life of contemplative activity. Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Chapter 3. Are you able to follow? So these Brahmanas belong to the Sankhya types. Therefore, their life will be predominantly contemplative oriented. Contemplative oriented means more prone to thinking, etc. All that. Kim punaha. When those who have so much of difficulties, if they themselves, I am guaranteeing them yoga and kshema quickly, Kshipram bhavati, how much more easier it will be for this Brahmana and Raj Rishis. How much more easier, Arjuna? So easy it is. It is so easy for you to become. It is so easy for you to become that. Imam lokanu prapya. Having got into this, having imam in this loka. In this loka means in this human birth, where you have a choice to do karma yoga, where you have the choice to do the proper actions and become dharmic by nature. What makes you dharmic? Remember these two words. This lokam can be made use of through proper knowledge. If that proper knowledge isn't there, this lokam becomes anityam asukam. Adu nityamum kadayadu, idhula sugamum kadayadu. What are you running behind? There is no nityatvam, there is no agamapayino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata. Chapter 7, chapter 2. I said very beautiful, verse number 14, chapter 2. Tam titikshasva bharata. This is anityam, this is asukam. The moment you understand it as anityam and asukam, you will become dharmatma, you will become dharmic. Why? Why will you want to waste your time in that which has no sukham, which is anityam? You are so involved in it because you still believe there is some sukham in it. That's why. You still believe deep in your deepest core, there is a conviction. What is the conviction? That there is some temporary sukham irke, sir. The temporary sukham is exciting, no? Okay, it may not be permanent. We all understand, oh, nothing in life is permanent, sir. It's okay, no? Nothing in life is permanent. But human being doesn't make a full stop there. Nothing in life is permanent. And then the next word is what? But. Yeah. The but to soltale, what does that mean? You have not understood it. You have not understood it rightly. Anityam, asukam. And what is this anityam and asukam? When to start spiritual life, sir? When to start spiritual life? When you are young, you cannot do that. Why? Because when to start spiritual life, you cannot. When can you? You cannot, because when you are young, balastavat krida saktaha. So you have no time for spirituality. When you are young and all, no time for spirituality, because that is priority. Tarunastavat tarunai saktaha. When you are in the prime, when you are in your prime, I don't know whatever that word prime is. I don't know whatever that word prime means. When you are in prime, tarunastavat taruni saktaha. Balastavat krida saktaha, tarunastavat taruni saktaha. Gotten tired, fatigued, everything, all faculties have become numb, dull. Faculties have become numb and dull. But what has increased? Desires has increased. Tarunastavat taruni saktaha. Tarunastavat, so no. Parame brahmani kopina saktaha bhajagovindam. What is the problem? What is the greatest confusion of life? When to start spiritual life, sir? After retirement? After retirement, how can you start? Because children are there, grandchildren are there, isn't it? And importantly, grandchildren, invariably all grandchildren are in. Yeah. No grandchildren is sitting next to you. So all grandchildren are in America or Australia. Where do you have when to start spiritual life then? Change all your activities to spiritual activities. Whatever activities you are doing, convert it into spiritual activity. Why? Because you have understood the way that you are chasing activity is anityam and asukam. Anityam and asukam. Imam lok, you don't understand the value of this loka. You don't understand the value of it. Now, how to make a person understand the value? That is the most difficult thing. The moment you can make a person understand the value of human life, rest of it falls in place automatically. But the greatest problem is how to make a person understand the value of this Imam Lokam. What is the value of this birth? Imam Lokam means this human birth. What is the value of this human birth? Yantunam Narajanma Durlabam. Veda says that. The human birth is Durlabha. Labha means Labham Naina. Profit. The most profitable thing that you can get is this human birth. The most wonderful thing that you can get is this human birth. The most profitable thing that you can get in life is to be simply born as a human being. Jantonam Narajanma Durlabha it is. Yeah. Durlabha it is. And what is that wasted upon? Anityam and Asukam. This Durlabha is wasted on Anityam and Asukam. Why it is wasted on Anityam and Asukam? Either the combination is Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, or what are the two combinations that is predominantly seen? One combination. Tamas, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Okay. Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Na? What is that combination called? Some name you have to give. Give that name. Doesn't matter. Vaishya. Innor combination. Tamas, Rajas, Sattva. This is a combination. This is a what to do now? They don't understand the value of this. The moment they understand what changes, the Rajas will remain, the Tamas will become less, and Sattva increases. Angada, are you able to follow the growth now? From Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, the proportion will change. The proportion will change to what? Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. That category is called Raja Rishis. That category is called Raja Rishis. Continuing to be dharmic, proportion changes. What is the proportion that will change? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So, previous category. Enna category? Tamas, Rajas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. In the rendu category, previous verse discussed. In this verse, what is that? What is the category that is being discussed? Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. That Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is Brahmana. That Rajas, Sattva, Tamas is Rajarshi. And what brings the proportionate change? And the Tamas Rajas, where in the how that proportion change comes in? What will bring that proportion? What will bring the change in proportion? Anityam, Asukam. That's why Shastras keep drilling it. Anityam, Asukam. Anityam, Asukam. By getting carried away by this misunderstanding of considering the Anityam as Nityam and Asukam as Sukam, you do so many adharmic activities. That adharma makes you lose the wonderful opportunity. Are you able to understand the sequence? That makes you lose the wonderful opportunity. What is the wonderful opportunity? Imam prapyam. This world that you got is this world, this life that you got is so precious, so precious, so precious. Born a human being, got access to the Guru, got access to the Shastras, still debating what to do, isn't it? Isn't it? Krishna himself is confused. This category doesn't exist. You got the human birth. Look at the hierarchy, they say. Being born as a human being itself is difficult. Faculties are all right is much more difficult. Having access to Shastra is more difficult. Having a Guru who can explain the Shastra is Durlabha it is. That is the Durlabha. Having come to this point, where the mind is still going. Having come to this point where the mind is still going, what will happen? Having reached this height, if you fall, the fall will be height போக போக விழும்போது அடி ஜாஸ்தி ஆகும், isn't it? Having come to the top, you fall. And when you fall, and what will be the nature of the fall? Okay. Life, God says, I gave you an opportunity, but okay, you like to be tamasic only. Therefore, be in tamas for a long period of time. So one will become Mars planet, one will become Jupiter planet, one will become another planet. Just existence, with simply existing without for a long period. You just want to that, no, you will get it. அப்புறம் அதுல இருந்து திருப்பி வரணும். அதுல இருந்து you have to start the fight. அதுல you have to start again and again and again and again and again. ஜந்தூனாம் நரஜன்ம. It is very, very difficult, Arjuna. Having gotten this, what you have? All human beings have a rudimentary intellect, and that rudimentary intellect is enough to understand Anityam, Asukam. Please understand that. Again, I repeat, all human beings have a rudimentary intellect, and this rudimentary intellect is enough to understand Anityam and Asukam. That's why everybody says, oh, sir, correct, sir. Sir. Temporary. Even the drunken man can say that, no? It means the rudimentary intellect is enough to understand Anityam and Asukam. But because of the other priorities, this is ignored. And opportunity missed is for what? For you want that. Therefore, the divine says, okay, since your yoga and kshema is to be tamasic in nature, be a stone. And then you will get very irritated being a stone. At least plant allow me. Plant. And then you will get irritated being a plant. Then you say, at least allow me to be a bird. At least ant at least or mosquito isn't it? At least that. And then you come to human earth. And what will you do? What will you do? எப்படியாவது அனித்தியமா நித்தியமா மாத்தணும், அசுகமா மாத்தணும். Raga has to be fulfilled all the time. Dvesha, things should not come at all, isn't it? We all have that list. What is that list? Raga and Dvesha. We have that list of Raga and Dvesha. So what do we start doing? Raga must be fulfilled all the time. The list of Dvesha should not வரவே கூடாது. ராகா லிஸ்ட் வந்துகிட்டே இருக்கணும். துவேஷா லிஸ்ட் should not come at all. Impunar Brahmanaha, Rajarishaya, all these people, Arjuna, Duratma, Papayonayaha, Stri, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya, Brahmana, all of them, Arjuna, they are on the same path, different stages. All of them are in the same path, but they are in different stages. Why do we say all of them are in the same path? They have rightly resolved to be dharmic. They have rightly resolved to be dharmic, and all these people are in various stages. Irrespective of wherever you are, yoga kshemam vahamyaham and me bhaktaha na pranashyati. I will give you yoga and kshema. Destruction radhe kedayadu. Therefore, what are you worried about? Meaning there is nothing to worry about. What are you worried about means it's a rhetoric way of saying there is nothing to worry about, and we have only something to keep worrying about. This is verse number 33. There is one more verse 34 with which we conclude the chapter. We'll take up verse number 34 next week and we'll conclude this beautiful chapter of Bhakti. With this, we conclude for today. Whatever clarifications are there, we will take up the next class and then move on to verse number 34 and conclude the chapter. Thank you.